imagine if just for a moment that you had the most extraordinary, amazing car in the world. Now, imagine what would happen if you took that car and you placed donuts on the wheels. You had to replace the wheels with 2 donuts. What would that leave you? That would leave you a lopsided car. And this is the most extraordinary car in existence. Now, if you can imagine this, this is exactly how it is when a man feels shame. When a man has shame in his life, he is lopsided. He suffers from cognitive dissonance, which is the shame makes him feel a certain way. It affects his beliefs and it affects his actions. Living with shame cripples you. And what I've realized is that when a man lives with shame, he is controlled. He is controlled. Shame is a form of control. Shame and punishment are the original forms of control. It's how the government controls you. You are controlled by the laws. If you do not obey the laws, if you break them, you will go to jail as punishment or you will die. They will kill you if you behave bad enough. If you break too many laws, which is good because we need to control crazy freaks. Shame, on the other hand, is another form of control. Because if you feel shame, you feel like an outcast. And you're more likely to not do things which is going to bring shame to you. But shame has been twisted, and you see it started with religion. Shame was formerly the feeling of, oh, you're horny. You feel shame. Oh, if you commit this sin, you're supposed to feel shame. If you go against God's will, you feel shame. The ultimate punishment was suffering forever in hell. So you can see that religion set up this way to control and this way to enforce punishment and shame on the individual. Nowadays, I think that men are dealing with shame, and it's one of the most weakening things that you can do to yourself is to be a man that lives with shame in his head. You need to have a certain self-acceptance. You need to accept yourself, or else you will constantly be at war with yourself. You'll constantly have shame. If you don't accept yourself, even the dark side, the shadow side, the side of you that is aggressive, murderous even, maybe it, that shadow side of you that can tear things apart, that can cause mayhem, that is maybe unlikable, maybe it's goofy, maybe it's narcissistic, maybe it's ego. If you can't accept that side of yourself, anything that you can think of, if you can't accept it, combined with the also accepting that you're also a loving individual, you're also kind to other people, you also are caring, you're also a nice person, but you don't just get one without the other. It's the yin and yang, it's the shadow self, and it's the power, it's the full man. And so you don't get one without the other. And when you feel shame in your life, what ends up happening is you're controlled, you're weakened, and shame leads to cope. It leads to coping. Because when you're at war in your head, when you're at war with shame and guilt, what you end up doing is try to run away from these feelings because you can't accept yourself. And when you can't accept yourself, you can't accept other people. You get angry at other people because you're angry at yourself, and the world becomes this pond that you look into and you see your own reflection. And so the more that you're angry and you're resenting your own self, you're filled with shame, well, you're going to feel that way about everyone else. Women, men, your mom, your dad, friends. You're not going to be able to trust. You're not going to be able to enjoy, because you simply can't enjoy yourself. So shame leads to coping because you want to escape from that. Drugs. People that are addicted to drugs. The addiction keeps you running from the own shame that you feel in your head. Running and drinking and drugs and media and anything you can think of, video games, and always needing to escape from that person that you are, to feel different for a short time being, to feel high, to, addiction to marijuana, to feel high, to escape this plane of existence that you're on. But when you begin to accept yourself and you refuse to feel shame, it is truly when you begin to be able to live. And I think many guys are struggling with shame these days. And you have to realize it's a form of control through religion, through other influencers online, telling you that you are, that you're like always questioning yourself. Oh, you jerked off today. You feel shame. Shame is supposed to come from the tribe. When you let other people down, when you hurt someone because of your actions, that is when you should feel shame, because you didn't live up to the honorable code that the tribe has for itself. You didn't succeed. You weren't a man of your word. But nowadays, we're playing this battle of we're isolated and we're feeling shame in our own lives for our human nature and for our desires and for the way that we are. And people take advantage of that, especially when they can't enforce punishment upon you. The best way is to make you feel shame so that you begin to seek them out. They become an authority figure. Shame, oh, you play video games. Okay, you're a retard, right? Can you not come up with your own thoughts? Do you need someone else telling you what your actions should make you feel? Do you need another man to tell you that if you act like this, you should feel a certain way? No, you should take an honest look at your life. You should see if your actions bear any fruit, and if they put you in a better off position. If they cause harm, then you should change them. If they degenerate your mind and your body and your soul, then you should change them. But to live a life of shame and rumination inside of your head, what kind of way is that to live? Because then you're just going to keep feeling shame, keep feeling guilt, and then you're going to go to war with yourself. And the only way you're going to be able to escape that is through drugs and through living in these experiences that are fleeting and that give you some elevation, and they take away from this pain for a short time. It's only when you can accept that part of you and you can feel whole in everything with that shadow side of you, with also the goodness, the righteousness, the anger, the aggression, the sexual thoughts, the violence, the parts of you that are bitter, that are, seem evil. It's all there. It's not the thoughts that go into your head, it's how you act upon these thoughts. And so that is a huge thing for men these days, and something you have to realize. You want to get to a place of self-acceptance. You want to be at a place where you can view yourself from an outside view that's not emotional, that is not judging all the time. You want to be your own general, in a sense, where you course correct. If the actions are not aligned to the consequences that you desire, to the goals that you have in life, then you want to make changes. But you don't want to be in here, not with any, you don't want to be trapped in here with no autonomy and with no awareness. where you're just battling yourself all the time. You're split. You're like the car, you're lopsided. What happens to a lopsided car? Low gas mileage. You can't go as fast. People don't respect you because, you're driving the best car in the world. You got a Bugatti, but you got 2 donuts on there. So you just look like you won the lottery and splurged on a Bugatti and then you went bankrupt. Like, this guy's been driving with donuts for 6 months, dude. He's a fool, right? This guy's driving a Bugatti, but he's living in a freaking box. Like, come on. And so that's what you're doing when you're in this cognitive dissonance. You're always in shame. You're always in guilt. You don't seem solid. You don't seem solid. So, even if you're driving a damn Corolla, maybe, these days everyone's worried about their looks. Maybe you're not the perfect height. Maybe you don't got the perfect looks. You're driving a 94 Corolla. Corolla can still get good gas mileage. Corolla can still get you to point A to point B. You still pick up some chicks in a Corolla. I've done it. But, you put donuts on that sucker, you're what are you doing? So don't be lopsided. Don't be in and out. Don't have cognitive dissonance, man. Accept who you are. Accept the things you do. And, this is something you should ask yourself because, there are actions that you should not do and you will be punished. You'll go to jail, you'll be killed, and you'll be looked at as a weirdo. But you should not always be like this. You should take an honest look at your actions. You should say, does this hurt me? Does it hurt another individual? Did I hurt anyone else? Right? Or is this something that I want to change personally? Because I do not like the consequences of this action. And if it is, then you use awareness and you carry on and you try to cut it out. But if you keep failing, if you cannot accept this shadow side of you, if you cannot bring forth this part of you and become whole, you will start coping and you will cope hard. And coping leads to addiction, and it leads to complaining, and it leads you down a road that is of hell, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. You want to get rid of the shame, so you start thinking about it. You go to war with yourself instead of accepting who you are, accepting the man that you are, and doing what you can from there. No, you start coping hard, and that's when you become bitter and you hate the world because you hate yourself. You have to understand this, man. You have to understand this. If you look at it, the world, man, other people are just like you. People are just like me. People are just like you. We're all living in this world. We're all trying to make money. We're all trying to live, fulfilling lives. We're trying to eat enough for the day. We're trying to get enough food and shelter and find love. Find something that's meaningful to us. If you don't see that, and people go down past it, take them out of control. So if you can't accept that part of yourself and you don't realize you're maybe, your downfalls, if you can't accept them, then you're going to not be able to accept other people because they're always going to seem like different to you. And it's going to make you very lonely. You're going to feel very lonely in the world. Because you don't like yourself, so you can't like other people. Okay, and you will feel isolated and you'll feel alone. Okay, so a couple things to think about, man. A couple things to really think about because it's a form of control. Remember that shame is control. You're being controlled by the shame, and if someone enforces a certain mindset upon you to feel shame at certain times, you're being controlled by that person. You want to become a man that is standing on top of that mountain, looking over. That's looking over, and you're not at war with yourself. You're just observing. You're going about your day. You're doing what's in front of you. Right? You like the man that you are now and the man that you're becoming. And from there, you just keep going. And life makes sense. God shows you what you need to do. The path is made clear, but you don't want to get stuck in the mind. and stuck in shame and guilt, because it'll lead you off the righteous path. All right? I hope you guys have a great day. Keep it high, Thumos. And I'll see you soon. Peace.